Now, let's talk about the notion of time barriers. It's a fact that a locked classroom door is a proven time barrier. Classroom doors for the last 30 years have had solid core doors, steel frame jambs, and industrial strength locking mechanisms. In 2015, the Sandy Hook Commission released their summary report. The number one environmental design recommendation was the ability to lock the classroom door from inside the classroom, not just teachers, but subs as well. Why? Their testimony and their research found 0 cases of a gunman breaching a locked classroom door. This still holds true today, even after so many more tragic events. Other than an edge case in Red Lake, Minnesota, where a side window was breached, an active shooter has never gained entry into a locked classroom. When there is a lockdown, you will hear, "Attention staff and students, lock down, secure the perimeter. Lock down, locks, lights, out of sight." Lockdown is used when there is a threat inside the school building. It could be the wrong person in the building. It may be the report of a weapon. It may be something worse, an armed intruder or some other danger. What's it look like?
If you are in a classroom when a lockdown is called, the main thing to remember is locks, lights, out of sight. As students gather in a safe area of the room, lock the door and turn off all lights. Have everyone in the room move to a location that is out of sight. Pick an area of the room that can't be seen from interior windows. An actual lockdown may not be resolved for several hours. Here's how you should wait. Stay in the safe location. Don't move around the room. Remain silent. Staff, take written attendance of who is in the room. Note anyone missing and if you have any extra students or staff.
Okay, let's look at what students should do. First, stay out of sight from the hallway window. How do you know you're out of sight? If you can't see out into the hall, then no one in the hall can see you. Also, sit on the floor and get low. A locked door is a proven time barrier. In active, violent events, rarely, if ever, has someone been hurt who was behind a locked classroom door. Be absolutely silent. Turn your phone off in the initial stages of a lockdown. If there is an actual lockdown, you'll get the chance to text your parents in a while. Do not open the door for anyone. Administrators or law enforcement will unlock the door and release the room. We don't know what's happening in the hallway. Let's look at what teachers should do in a lockdown. When you hear lockdown, locks, lights, out of sight, depending on what you see and hear, you might want to sweep the hallway for students. If the threat is close to your classroom, focus on getting the door locked and closed as quickly as possible. A locked classroom door is a proven lifesaver. Turn out the lights. Usually, there is no need to raise or lower the outside window shades because the threat is inside the building. The priority is to get out of sight behind a locked door as quickly as possible. If you must cover the outside windows for darkness, do that after you've secured the door. Depending on your classroom, you may leave the corridor window uncovered so law enforcement can see into the room from the hallway. Some classrooms have large windows, making it difficult to get out of sight. In this case, it may be beneficial to cover the hallway windows. More law enforcement agencies are recommending not sliding anything under the door. The reasoning is twofold. First, they won't believe the message until they have verified the status of the classroom. And you're giving too much information to the bad guy. Be silent and maintain student silence. Turn off your phone. If you are with young students, it may be soothing to very quietly read to them. A lockdown cannot be ended with an intercom announcement. It only ends with administration or police opening the door and releasing the room. If you can, take attendance. Note if you have missing students or extra students swept from the hall. Note the time. You probably won't need to do anything with the roster at this point, but we're creating a chain of custody, and this will be useful over the life cycle of the event. Let's look at this.
If a fire alarm sounds, do not leave your safe location unless you are certain that a fire is threatening your room. If you are forced to evacuate due to a fire, keep in mind that the hall may not be your best escape route.
What's the difference between lockout and lockdown? Lockout is when the threat is outside of the building. Lockdown is when there is a threat inside the building. After securing the perimeter, lockout is business as usual. Lockdown is locks, lights, and out of sight. What if you're outside? If you're outside and a lockdown is called, don't go back into the building. Rather, go to a safe location. What if there is no teacher? Get behind a locked door if possible. If not, close the door and hide. You may try to evacuate if the threat is not in your immediate vicinity. What if you're in the hallway? Teachers check the halls quickly before they lock and turn the lights out. Get to a classroom, any classroom, as quickly as you can and lock down. If the classroom is already locked, then find a place to hide. Do not go from classroom to classroom. Evacuating may be another option. What if the fire alarm sounds? Stay in the classroom unless you see fire or if smoke is filling your classroom. If you must evacuate due to a fire or smoke, the hallway may not be your best option. Consider using an alternate door, window, or any other exterior exit. Can we text our parents? In the time immediately after a lockdown is called, remain silent and silence your phone. As the event evolves, you'll be given an opportunity to text your parents. That was lockdown.